Hello, I hope you all enjoyed reading Chapter 2 of Number the Stars. We are on Lesson 2 today. Today, I want to teach you that at the start of a complex text, readers often track important information they need to know on a mental bulletin board. Specifically, they make note of who, what, where, when, and why of the book. Whenever I read a book, I want to grasp the who, what, where, when, and why of the book. I meet a character and I track that one character up into my mental bulletin board and take notes on new characters while I read. So I'm going to read to you a chapter or a page from a chapter 1 on Number of the Stars, and I'm going to model for you on how I make my mental bulletin board. And this is also how we read intensely. Chapter 1, Why Are You Running? I'll race you to the corner, Ellen. Anne-Marie adjusted the thick leather pack on her back so her school books balanced evenly. Ready? She looked at her best friend. Ellen made a face. No, she said, laughing. You know I can't beat you. My legs aren't as long. Can't we just walk like civilized people? She was a stocky 10-year-old, unlike lanky Anne-Marie. So now I'm going to ask myself, what am I mentally noticing? Specifically, what am I mentally noticing about each character? So I'm going to show you some notes that I took on Ellen and Anne-Marie. I noticed that Anne-Marie is lanky, she's best friends with Ellen, and she's an eager runner. I notice about Ellen that she is stocky, she's best friends with Anne-Marie, and she's a reluctant runner, because I know she didn't want to run as much that Anne-Marie did. So I got all of those notes just from one passage of the chapter. So now what I would like you guys to do is take mental notes of characters while I read another passage of the book to you. So this is part of that active engagement part. And this is something that you would usually turn and talk with a partner about. But for now, I want you to think to yourself on how you would take mental notes. You could take notes in a notebook. You could share with your parent, dog, or cat, whatever you'd like to do. All right, so this is the next passage. She was a stocky 10-year-old, unlike lanky Anne-Marie. We have to practice for the athletic meet on Friday. I know I'm going to win the girls' race this week. I was second last week, but I've been practicing every day. Come on, Ellen, Anne-Marie pleaded. Ellen hesitated, then nodded and shifted her own rucksack of books against her shoulders. Oh, all right. Ready? She said. Oh, should Anne-Marie and two girls were off, racing along the residential sidewalk. Anne-Marie's silvery blonde hair flew behind her, and Ellen's dark pigtails bounced against her shoulders. Wait for me, wailed little Christy, left behind, but the two older girls were not listening. Anne-Marie outdistanced her friend quickly, even though one of her shoes came untied as she sped along the street called Osterbrogade, past the small shops and the cafes of her neighborhood in northeast Copenhagen. Laughing, she skirted an elderly lady in black who carried a shopping bag made of string. A young woman pushing a baby in a carriage moved aside to make way. The corner was just ahead. So now this is what I'd like you to do. Discuss with your parent, pet, or think to yourself or take notes on what details you would add on to your mental bulletin board of Ellen, Anne-Marie, and Christy, who is a new character that's being introduced. So at this time, you can pause the video to do that. All right, so I hope you had some great conversations with your parent or your pet or whoever you're with. And now I'm going to set you up with the link for the end of this lesson. You are now going to get to enjoy your historical fiction book that you have chosen. Your homework is going to be to read chapter 2 of that book club book today. And while you're reading, collect information about the people and the place. Try to sense the tone of it, note the details, and think about whether trouble is brewing. Notice how the setting seems to affect the characters. And no, it might affect different characters differently. Thank you so much for listening and good luck.